If you have ever opened your NDIS plan and thought, I don't actually know what I am looking at, you are not alone. Most people are given a plan, but never shown how to read it in a way that actually makes sense. And when you don't understand your plan, it becomes very hard to make confident decisions about your supports. So, in this video, I am going to walk you through how to read your plan in a simple and practical way. Not every detail, just what actually matters. The first thing to understand is that your plan is not just a document, it is a structure. And once you understand that structure, everything becomes a lot clearer. At a high level, your plan has three main parts: your goals, your funding, and the information that explains how that funding can be used. Your goals are important because they guide everything else. Funding is not given randomly. It is linked to your goals. So when you are reading your plan, start there. Ask yourself, do these goals reflect what I actually want to work towards? Next is your funding. This is where most people feel overwhelmed, but it becomes much easier when you stop looking at it as one big number and instead break it into categories. You will usually see categories like core supports, capacity building, and sometimes capital. Each of these works differently, and understanding that is key to using your plan effectively. Core supports are generally the most flexible. They are designed to support your day-to-day needs. This can include personal care, support to get out into the community, assistance with daily activities, and sometimes consumables. Within core, there is often some flexibility between line items, which means funding can be used across different types of supports, depending on your needs. But that does not mean it is unlimited. You still need to think about how often supports are being used and whether that funding will last over time. Capacity building is different. This funding is more structured and is usually linked to specific types of supports. It is designed to build your skills and independence over time. This can include things like occupational therapy, physiotherapy, psychology, support coordination, and training to help you manage your plan. Unlike core, capacity building funding is generally not flexible between categories. Each type of support has its own budget, and it is important to know how much is allocated to each. This is where people can run into trouble if they are not tracking how that funding is being used. Capital funding is usually the most specific. This is typically for one-off purchases or higher cost items. Things like assistive technology, equipment, or home modifications. This funding is usually allocated for a particular purpose, and it cannot be used outside of that. So it is important to understand exactly what it has been approved for. Once you understand these categories, the next step is to look at how your funding is being used over time. This is where people often get caught out, because it is not just about how much funding you have, it is about whether it will last for the full plan period. So when you are reading your plan, you want to be thinking ahead, not just what can I use this for right now, but will this still work in 6 months or 12 months? Are my supports being used at a rate that is sustainable, or am I likely to run out of funding early? The final thing to understand is that your plan does not tell you exactly what to do. It gives you a framework. You still need to make decisions within that framework, and that is why understanding your plan is so important, because the decisions you make now can influence what happens in your next plan. If your plan has ever felt confusing or unclear, that is not a reflection of you. It is a complex system, and most people are expected to figure it out without much guidance. But once you understand the structure and how the pieces fit together, it becomes much easier to move forward with confidence. In the next video, I will go a step further and talk about how to use your funding in a way that is sustainable over time.